gate area up there. That's a longin. In the ground about 3 years. I just trimmed it back hard. You can see it's fleshing out for next season, and then I'll have to, since where it's located, have to continue to cut it back hard every year and let it flesh out. But luckily the fruiting comes from the growth tips, so it really shouldn't be any deterrent, so to speak, from getting decent fruit out of it. This here is got a couple. This is a Goldfinger fleshing out a nice rack right now. These are good size racks. They'll get probably 100 bananas on this easy, but they're very thin bananas. You can see they're fairly thin. Now obviously they're young, just coming out, but they are pretty thin bananas. And then next to it, this is a Namois. It's a full-size Namois. I got this from a friend, I guess, associate, what have you. And this has been in the ground just about a year now, so it's starting to throw off some new pups, and it's kind of an area I do a lot of chop and drop. Right next to it is my sugar apple. It's a green sugar apple. I do a couple things here to make sure these things get pollinated really well. I don't do any hand pollinating. What I do is I just put a bucket right there, you can see it, with some old fruit in it, and it's growing. That old fruit is actually sprouted. I think they're old mangoes, and that attracts I think it's a beetle that pollinates these things. So you can see pretty much everywhere there's fruit. Here's like 4 there, another 4 there, another one there. And obviously we'll be eating some of them along the way here as well. So this is a very productive tree, and I keep this thing pretty small as well. Under and next to it is some coffee. I've been growing a lot of coffee. Haven't really drank a lot of the coffee, but I've been growing it this year. You know, we get some beans. I was worried about these things getting a little too much sun, but it's kind of pushed through somewhat. You can see the leaves are pretty set shape, but the top growth looks okay. So I was worried about this thing getting too much sun, and I have to come in here and harvest these beans, but you can see the thing's loaded with beans, and they're all starting to get into a ripening stage. So we'll be coming in here and picking some of these. Underneath, this is kind of more of a permaculture area in general, so I have my Cosmetic growing here, lots of different kinds. There's even some variegated versions in there. You can see they're pretty, as well as tasty. Underneath, I got some taro growing. This is an old mulberry that I cut back, but the stump kind of started growing a little bit, got some root rot, and really want to get it out of this area. Moved it to the front, and elsewise, this is where I have, again, some more Cosmetic through here. Some CISO spinach underneath. And then, again, another coffee plant tree that has got some pretty beans on it as well. That's going to be part of that overall harvest. And that's what we got growing in this area. On the other side, this is where the main grapevine comes in, and I moved it along off of this trellis because I'm going to be putting some solar panels up here, but I've moved it onto a cable trellis that extends all the way over here. Grapes are still coming out. It's been a very hot year, so maybe the summer will be a little bit longer. I had to move everything, so it kind of lost its momentum, if you would, and it does have some grapes that are coming in. These are both a purple and a blush kind. The purple ones are a newer vine. This is the purple one. As you can see, this vine's not very thick yet, but it's coming in. I don't remember the species or exact breed of it, but we got some fruit coming in here. And then the main one's the blush version, and that's what these big thick vines are. But again, I cut it back way hard this year. Didn't leave many spurs to grow from, so because I wanted to relocate it onto this cable system. And then I'm just in the process of still getting these beds ready for the winter. I think what I'm going to do is grow a lot of my peppers back here, because continuously they should do okay in this more dappled light in the hot summer time frame. and I still want to cage this one in. This is a cocktail citrus. It's a Myers lemon on the top, and then a Valencia orange underneath. It fights Florida with the leaf miner issue. You can see all the leaves are somewhat attacked by the leaf miner. It's a good example of it right there. The leaf is trashed. As well as obviously the greening, maybe some signs of some greening pressure right there. You can see those are some leaves that don't look like a nutritional problem. It could be the greening. I do kind of bring some oak leaves over here and put it on the ground, but this should do pretty well nutritionally, because now I got these beds above it and the roots will most likely grow up into it. And that's kind of all I got going on now. This will be, like I said, more of my annual beds back here. Not many trees other than the ones I just showed. Going out here, I just moved this trellis over here. Long-term one right now. I got just have some sweet potatoes growing up the trellis, but I just planted, hard to see, that's a passion fruit vine, so eventually that'll grow up here. And this is the idea here, is to have a passion fruit vine growing on this lattice year-round. Over here is just another bed, which I'll be growing mostly greens in the summer. Here I got some yard long beans growing, and a Seminole pumpkin growing in here for now. But again, this is the summer transition. That's what we'll grow in the summer. Some more Katuk out here. This is kind of one thing about Katuk: if you do plant it, it ends up becoming somewhat wild. It'll run and it'll seed all over the place as well, but it's food, so I don't mind it. Here's a chaya. This one, ironically, it's poisonous unless you cook it, and ironically the iguanas eat it and don't seem to die, so I'm not sure if they have some immunity to it. But this is a good chaya plant right here. Next to him, it's Grumi Chama, which I try to keep relatively short. This is doing pretty well. It needs a lot more water. We're in a drought situation here. We're getting very minimal rain, enough to keep the ground from completely going bone dry, but not good enough to keep these things exactly happy. Leaves should look more than that, and you can see they're a little bit hurting as far as the water. And there's a sprinkler head right under this too, so it gets a ton of water, but still not enough for what it needs. Above that is my jackfruit. This is a Zane jackfruit, supposed to be like a red flesh type. Has not yet produced any fruit. It's probably been in the ground about 5 years. So we'll see how this does. I thought I saw a flower once, but never materialized. But the trunk's getting to be pretty sizable. So hopefully this year we can get some fruiting in the season. I have to cut this one back too to keep it from intruding on the neighbors, but mostly topping it. This side over here is mostly a cosmetic side. I did this was some kind of cactus here, and I hated it because all it was is spikes, so I just dug that out just recently. Put that queen lily right there. But what I'll be doing is adding a whole lot more pineapples. I've had this pineapple here, and then I just added those 3 pineapples there. So this will be a whole row of pineapples going around. And for this season, while there's nothing there, I just planted out some corn. So we'll see if that takes. I do throw some vegetables in here as well. Right there's this one's Puerto Rican taro. And always sweet potatoes. Getting lots of lawn services around here. Behind this area is also, I try to grow a little bit of food. You see, that's a bunch of cassava growing here, so we'll have that cassava growing in the back, cosmetic stuff in the front. Try to utilize as much space as possible in the small residential lot. Continuing down the path. On the other side of this jackfruit is a cherry of the Rio Grande. This thing flowered profusely one year and then hasn't done jack since then, pun intended. I just cut it back hard and it flushed out really nice. It's a nice looking plant, nice looking shrub, but it's not producing any fruit. So I have to figure out what to do to get it actually to produce fruit, or it's just going to be basically an ornamental bush. Next to that is some more cassava. And here I'll just throw cassava anywhere because it's kind of a temporary plant. So we'll grow this 2 cassava plants here. And this here, you can see this growth. What I'll do is I'll chop off some branches while we're in the middle of the season. Like there, I cut that branch right there, for example, and then some new sprout came out. Another one where I cut, new sprout came out, and those ones I cut are the ones that I planted behind there that I showed you earlier. Here we got some seminole pumpkin growing here. This is a Hawaiian solo papaya. Take that off. And that one is actually a volunteer that came from a tree I had here about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and it seeded out and produced another plant. Here's my I call my community area. So far no one really takes it. I got some green onions growing here. Down here we have Okinawan spinach, which usually has a nice purple, but when it gets in the full sun like this, it gets pretty faded out. So the purple that you usually see in Okinawan spinach, that part there is a little bit more purple. It doesn't really show itself unless it's in a very shaded area. Long-term wise, I plan for this to be a shaded area. This is a sapadilla. This was a seedling that I grew from an Alano fruit. So this will be an Alano if it ever does flower. It's grown pretty well, but it's not flowered at all since I put it in the ground. So we'll see. You can see also it could use a little bit more water. Again, we're not doing too good with water this year, so it's keeping it alive, but nothing great. This here is, I usually like to grow sweet potatoes, but the iguanas like to eat the sweet potatoes before I get anywhere, so don't have any sweet potatoes out here. This is a ever-bearing mulberry, which does pretty well. It's got some berries on it right now. They're pretty small, but at times they'll be much bigger than that. And I just cut it back regularly to keep it controlled, and then it makes it flush out. So here, example where I cut it, it's flushing out some new fruit. Here's more of the size of the mulberries that we usually get. That one's not ripe yet, but got a ways to go. This is more of my cosmetic area. That is have a little bit of edibles here. That's ceaseless spinach that's not liking it too much in the heat. That's a lemongrass. Got some rosemary back here. This is my mame sapote, which I haven't gotten any fruit off of yet, but it is doing extremely well. It's growing like crazy around this fountain, or in the fountain. It's also dropping a lot of fruit too, so you can see here on the ground there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a lot of fruit's been dropped, so hopefully these other fruits will hold. We'll get some mame sapotes. These things take forever, and this drought condition has not done it any favors. So I think it continues to drop the fruit because it's not getting enough water to really make it happy. It's not an ideal situation because it's kind of on a hill, but this is where I had space. That's where it went. It's a pretty tree though. Here's Suriname cherry. This is your red Suriname cherry. This was a volunteer. And coming up around the corner here, this is my mango hedge. It's a Kerry mango and a Cogs Hall mango. This shape, you see, it's not ideal for the cutting, for the trimming that you should do for a mango tree, but my goal is to make it a hedge as well as get fruit. Plus I live very close to the coast, so I don't get the issues with the diseases and such like that, because I get a constant sea breeze, keeps the diseases in check. Over here on the other side of the fountain, I have I have pineapples everywhere underneath. This is another area where I grow a lot of pineapples. This is a pomegranate, but I'm not sure it's a regular pomegranate. I think it's somewhat of a pomegranate bush, kind of more ornamental. We've eaten them, but they're great. This is a finger lime that has not flowered yet, but it's growing very well. And then this is one of my big pineapple patches. I started this a couple years ago, I guess, over here with a bunch of tops and what have you. And this will be hopefully we'll get a couple of these are getting to size where I'll get some pineapples. But I like growing in the dappled light, do really well. And so this is probably about 20 pineapples just shoved in here amongst the cosmetic stuff. I think what I try to do is I just mix all the fruit and the fruit and the cosmetics into one, in my mind, cohesive look. But that's kind of what you do when you don't have space and you still want to make things look really nice. Really not much over here. This is more of a cosmetic bed. A couple pineapples that we've thrown in there. That's a white pineapple right there. And then that's about it, all cosmetic. Here will be my future raised beds. Grow mostly everything's in pots over here. So we got a carambola. This is a Carrie starfruit carambola. It's going through its flowering stages right now. It's got a couple little fruit set. I think there's one full-size fruit right there that's not quite full-size picking yet, but getting close. And what's that? Got a blueberry right there. This is all stuff just waiting to go into the new structure that I'm building. This pepper's getting a little long in the tooth, still producing, but it's getting some. We get a lot of white fly issues here, and you can see that's all covered in white flies. This is another citrus, doing fairly well, but you can see this one's really a leaf miner one, man. It just nails these things. This one here is I forgot what this one. Oh, it's a key lime. This is a key lime. Planning on setting up a citrus area over here where I'll put them all underneath netting, so we can get most of these are self-fertile, and the netting will keep the leaf miners and other bugs at bay. So hopefully that'll help. You can see that actually they do that in the fields a lot. Some of the citrus fields will have a whole bunch of nets over their smaller plants. Nothing else over here of consequence. Got some tomatoes, some peppers, sweet potatoes. This is my blackberry that I'm not expecting fruit out of again this year, although it is flowering a little bit right here. And I'll probably get a handful of blackberries, but it's really just keep it alive until I can get it into the new structure, which I'll build this winter when it gets a little cooler and more comfortable to work in. Have a volunteer papaya which grew out through the pavers. I'm letting it just grow to actually provide shade for this area. For my sweet potato starts, these are a bunch of slips from the purple sweet potato that are going to have to be transplanted. And right now just growing a bunch of green onions and sweet potatoes over here. Not much. These are ones I don't know what I'm going to do with long-term wise. There are a couple seedling black sapotes that I just let grow, but honestly don't have a home for them, so maybe I'll give them to someone, or they'll become compost. On the other side here, this is mostly a cosmetic area, but we do have a couple of trees. This is a lychee that I cut back. I cut it hard. I was going to get rid of it because we get this disease called lem, and it has continually been hit by it, but I didn't have the heart to take it out all the way, so I let it grow back, and we'll see how it does. Maybe we can keep it as a small quote-unquote bush type of lychee and get a handful out of it, maybe more. These are all cosmetics. This is my biggest tree here and producer. These are the avocados, and it's kind of loaded in avocados. We pick them as we need them. Avocados or stay on the tree until you want to take them off and ripen them. So that's what we got here. A bunch of avocados, and this is a very productive tree. This was actually a seedling. Have no idea what it is exactly. I think it could be a Simmons, or it could be a crochet, crochet. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's a very vertical growing tree, which is good, and it's on the west side of our house, so it keeps the house nice and shaded during the heat of the summer. Again, this is all cosmetic here. It's my wife's area. Got a bunch of orchids and cosmetic plants under here. And really don't hit fruit again until we get onto the other side of this area, where we have white pineapples I showed in some previous videos. These pups are starting to come out of the old plant. This is a red jaboticaba, which is in need, which I'm going to do this winter, opening it up. So for now I just let it kind of bush out and grow where it wanted to, but this winter I'm going to come through with both of my jaboticabas and trim them proper, so they get more light into the wood, and hopefully it will get some fruit. I've not gotten any fruit off this yet, but you can see how dense it is in there, and hopefully once I open it up we'll get some fruiting. Next to that is some of my bananas. This is a Jamaican red banana. These are pretty continuously producing fruit, and just cut it back and harvested one. See, that's the last one I cut back, but this is a blue spur, which is the toilet paper plant. Got this in a little 4-inch pot, and it is grown crazy. Not only it's nice and soft, but it also has a little minty flavor to it. I don't know that you eat it, but it's a toilet paper plant, and you know what that means. In here is another area where I grow a lot of pineapples. I'll just throw them in this big area here, and there's probably about 20 plants in here that will grow some pineapples throughout the years. And anytime I get a top, I'll throw them in one of those two areas and let it go. This is a very shaded area, but it does pretty well. And I just cut back all my coconuts. That's another video. So all these got trimmed up. You can see there's still a whole bunch of baby coconuts forming. But you know, they're about a year off, or 6 months off at least. But we did it for the hurricane season, as well as it was just getting to be a bit dangerous with all those coconuts that were overhead. You never know when they're going to fall. So, and also I grow some taro in here. So the taro right there, for example, it just grows mixed in with the flowers and everything. That one's, you can see they're starting to go dormant, so it's time to harvest those. And oh, look at there, I got a bird of paradise. I haven't had a bird of paradise flower in this area for a while. They're really pretty flowers, I think, since I've opened it up. Got some more light in here with the coconuts trimmed back. It's popped a flower. Down here I have my, it's mostly structural right now, in my garage, if you would, but also bananas. This one also, this here was a volunteer. This is another Suriname cherry, but this is a black or dark red, or what do you want to call it, Suriname cherry, which was nice. So I only got a couple fruits off it last year, but since now that we opened this area up, look there, some little flowers starting to form right there. So it'll probably produce much better this year since we opened it up. Get some black Suriname cherries, which are way sweeter than the red ones. These are some bananas I just moved. This is another Namwa, full-size Namwa, that got all beat up when they were doing the coconut trimming. So hopefully that'll bounce back. I also need to get it a little bit more food. It's somewhat of a dry area. This is all raised. You can see they're all kind of a whole tier system. So there's 3 tiers going down, as our land is very it's like a 45-degree slope originally. So this is the main tier right here, comes down about 4 foot. And then I have my raised bed slash cage garden, as we call it. I put it to bed during the summer. I know you can grow some things here during the summer, but I don't bother with it. I just mulch it really heavy. And then you can see I grow some sweet potatoes along the floor and in pots and what have you. This is my another area where I grow a lot of bananas. You can see along the lake. I kind of sometimes let it go to forest. I'll grow, but this is ice cream banana. These are the main ones. This whole patch here is all ice cream bananas, and then this little one here that also got beat up from the palm fronds coming down, and over there on the other side, those are Mysore bananas. This is also actually a Mysore banana here. So got the Namwa that I put there just recently, and the Mysore banana, which is more of like a apple kind of fruit banana, sweet little apple bananas. Continuing down here, this area is all cassava for the most part. It's kind of just hard to see. This is a Jamaican mint. It's kind of a bush that has a mint flavor and smell to it. But here is all just cassava. Continuing down here, some grapes. Grapes didn't do that great this year because I also trimmed these back hard. I was going to get rid of them altogether, but then didn't have the heart, so I left them. But it really didn't produce this year, so we'll have to see. These are the purple type. There's two types of purple self-fertile down here. And then last but not least, down here, two more. It's on another level below. This is my Julie mango. This one did really well this year. We probably got about 50 mangoes off of this smaller tree, which needs to be trimmed back before the season. It's already starting to flush, so maybe we'll just let it go. Just provide some privacy for us as well. And then the other side here is one of various loquats I have. This one's a gold nugget loquat, and that's it on this lower level here. I'll have to go around and show you the rest, but this here is another Myers lemon that I just put in this corner. It doesn't get anywhere near enough light, but every once in a while I'll get a few fruits off of it. A couple pineapples, and this is the other Avocado we have. This is the Sabre type. It's not ideal condition being on this raised bed. Would like a little bit more water, but we try and do a couple tricks to keep it happy. I mulch it all the time. I throw some more acidic type of things in here to raise the acidity and also keep the water levels up as well. So for example, we'll use some peat moss, which I know maybe is not environmentally friendly, but the high acidity and the high water holding factor, and then cover that with some mulch. That's all we really do. Don't do much in the way of fertilizing otherwise. It's another Myers lemon right here, having a container. And that's it on the lower level. Coming around the pool area, got obviously a lot of cosmetic plants. Here's a Supreme guava under here. This was also a volunteer. I'm pretty sure it's a Ruby Supreme because we had one grown in the front and then this one showed up in the back. So kind of letting that grow as an understory fruit tree underneath this Frangipani, which needs some trimming back next year once it goes dormant again. Then up here, along with the Jaboticaba, grow some other annual type of plant. Well, this is more perennial. This is a basil. Some peanuts growing in there. We do have some other spice plants down here. We've got our aloe growing down here. This is it's not an oregano exactly, but this is what we use for oregano. I forgot the name of it. Someone called it out for me one time and I totally forgot. I keep calling it oregano, but it's like a Mexican oregano. It's pretty strong, pungent. And it's also other kind of herbs that we grow down here. See, even that tree right there, that's a leaf of life and that thing's hurting pretty bad. But we do have some We have the leaf of life growing everywhere. It's another plant that will just continue to grow if you don't control it. Got all my summer starts, our warm weather starts going here. I'll do a video on that, show some people what we're doing. And then last but not least, coming her back around, it's a heavily fruited area as well. So we have our papayas. Two types of papayas here. This is the solo papaya. I don't know, it's one of the, it's either sunrise or sunset Hawaiian solos. We'll have to see once it ripens up. And this one is Waimea lowland. And this one has gotten as tall as it can, so to speak, and then it started putting off branches. So you can see that thing's probably good. Oh, I'm probably getting near 30 feet up in the air. But what it's actually done is thrown off a whole bunch of branching, and all this branching has fruited. So you can see all now I got fruit very low, easy to pick, and 10, 12 feet of the ground from all these various branches. There's probably about 10 different branches coming out on the lower side. As we get around the lake here, towards the lake, there's another banana patch. This one is some more purple bananas, the Jamaican red. There's 2 racks forming here. That guy, and then one on the other side here, Jamaican red. That's a little more mature rack, so these have another month or so maybe. These will be ready. Those other ones probably have 2 months. And then in between it on the other side, this is the huamoa, which is a plantain, and that little triple is the second year. Got one rack this past year, and then these are the pups that came up. So I'm letting this triple grow up here to be our huamoa plants. Got some dragon fruit growing on the fence. It's a red on red dragon fruit, so it's the purple flesh type. And this is another loquat. This one is a champagne loquat. It's got actually my favorite loquat as far as taste is concerned. But it's not, doesn't really have a lot of sun, so it does okay, but it could use a little bit more sun. And down here towards the lake, I have a couple things. So one thing we do have is natives. So I would never not grow natives. So an oak tree is a Florida native that is a must. This brings so much wildlife into the property and a ton of shade. And this one is a gumbo limbo, which is another native again, you can see the size of the trunk of this thing. It's pretty huge. Underneath that is an understory, which is not really an understory tree, but that's how the situation is a black sapote. So this black sapote doesn't do that great as far as producing fruit. I think I've gotten 5 fruits off it one year, and this one I think is so far my only fruit for this year. So I think because it's understory, it doesn't get the resources, and also this is on a major slope, which I do a lot of chop and drop, so it probably gets a lot of food, but the water is a little tenuous. Hopefully the roots one day will get down low enough to actually suck off the lake. Not have to worry about it. This is a miracle fruit, which also, because of the light situation, is a little hurting. You can see could be better, but it does have, those are hard to see, but those are little flowers. The flowers are pretty nondescript. They're little brown things, and you wouldn't even know that they're a flower, but unless you know the plant. But that's what we get. So we'll get handful of miracle fruit off here, but it would probably prefer to be in a different location. And then the dragon fruit. It's another double-edged sword here. We get a ton of production off this dragon fruit as far as the flower is concerned, but it never sets any fruit. So unless we hand pollinate, we don't get any fruit set. And the problem is, this is 20 feet plus up in the air, out around the corner here. This one's Patomba, which still has a long way to go before it's making any fruit, but we'll see how that goes. Over here is a flame grapefruit, which again, I used to have some big birds of paradise here we just took out recently, so this is starting to get some better sun. Need to get it better fertilizer, but it does okay. It's got one fruit on it waiting to harvest. And then last but not least is another loquat. This is the first loquat I planted. It's very big. I was going to cut it back this year, but it started fruiting way earlier than normal. This is August, and you can see all the flowers on here already. So this is a Christmas loquat, and the idea was Christmas is actually we'll have fruit at Christmas time. Never has before, but I think this year we'll actually have fruit maybe even before Christmas time, because it's flowering out now, and probably 3 to 4 months max we should have fruits, which puts it right about Christmas time. So that'll be interesting. And next to that is 2 Cattleya guavas, which are on the cut list, meaning we're going to get rid of these trees. I really don't care for the taste of them too much. It's a lemon or pineapple one and a strawberry one. Just full of seeds. Plus, honestly, if you don't bag them, it gets fruit flies like crazy. And really, it's not worth the effort to bag them to get the fruit, because I really don't care for it too much. So these are going to come out eventually. I need to cut them back, but no reason to keep them if you don't like them. So we'll be replacing that with something else. And that's it. Back to where we started, if you would. All right. We'll see you later.